Well, BookTube, it is a perfect Tuesday because I have more book mail. So let's turn this camera around and open up this large paper package here. So it was a nice convenient pull tab. And today this package is coming to me all the way from Switzerland. It is a book catalog. So it is the catalog of a book collector. And this is difficult to do with one hand. But as you can see, it's wrapped in the bubble wrap here. La Bibliothèque de Feu Edouard Rahir. Première partie. So it is part one of the library of Edouard Rahir. I have to keep reminding myself of the name. But this should be interesting. There should be some interesting listings in here. I purchased this as a result of some essays that I'm rereading where this was mentioned. And it was a decent price and it arrived quickly. So I'm going to get this bubble wrap off and we're going to take a closer look. So I believe this is part one of 3. And if I find this interesting enough, I might seek out the second and third parts. But there is the spine. And of course, this is going to be in French, considering this gentleman was a French book collector. So let's open this up. So we've got kind of these folds here. I don't think there's anything on this page. No, it's just a blank page. So we will just fold that end paper back in and leave it as it is. There is our first title page. Ancien libraire. So these are old books. Not to be confused with new books. So this is from 1930. Beautiful title page here with the red ink. It's a nice device here, customized to Edouard Rahir. And over here we have the details of the sale. So it took place on Wednesday the 7th, Thursday the 8th, and Friday the 9th of May, 1930 at, I guess, 2 heures précises. So I'm assuming it was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, although that puzzles me because my understanding is that in French they use the 24-hour clock, but I'm certain it was not at 2 a.m. And so there is the location, the hotel where it took place, and rooms number 9 and 10. And a number of different locations. Exposition particulière des livres à Paris. And my French is very, very poor, but I'm working on it. But I'm fairly certain I can work my way through anything that's in here, given enough time and the ability to reference words that I don't know. So there is our book collector who lived from 1862 to 1924. Nice mustache there. A little bit of an introduction. Printed on very nice paper. Not much I can say about this at this point, considering it's all in French, and you certainly don't want to hear me attempt to read this French right now. But there is the introduction. And this is really the reason that I purchased this, knowing there would be wonderful images throughout. So we have some sort of very intricate binding here. Some more beautiful looking bindings. And I'm sure there'll be a reference list somewhere as to what these are. Yeah, here we go. And I love this. I love to see this. Sometimes when you buy an auction catalog like this, you will see that someone has put the prices in. So it almost looks like 34,000, 42,000, 14,000, but it's hard to tell entirely. I wouldn't think it would be just 34 given the number of zeros after, but I'm also not exactly up on my knowledge of the way that French currency is written out in long form like that. So we have some listings. That's kind of a nice header. Lots of beautiful bindings. From the 1700s. So my assumption is that this would be an 18th century French binding here. That's what we're looking at. Nice thick paper. It's kind of odd. Does this fold out perhaps? No. It's just the way it's bound, where we've got a blank in the middle. Oh, it's so they can do this. It's so they can do this and do the double full spread of this binding here. That's wonderful. Some more listings here. Wonderful bindings. I'm not a collector of, fine French bindings myself. A little bit or a lot out of my price range, but I sure do enjoy looking at images like this. So there's some Aristotle here. It looks like Aristotle's Ethics, or in the French, L'Ethica d'Aristotle. It's another wonderful looking binding there. There are some Bibles listed here. And everything appears to be in alphabetical order here, as is often the case. It's another beautiful looking binding. And I wonder what this is. It almost looks like a porcupine. But it's hard to tell. Could be a porcupine, could be some sort of mythical creature. I don't think it's a fish because it appears to have feet. If you can see that on the video, let me know in the comments below what you think it might be. There's something else up here that's kind of got spikes going on here, and it's not entirely clear. It looks like it's the same kind of creature, but I don't know. My guess would be a porcupine. Maybe there's a description here in French that I'll eventually decipher that will tell me what that creature is. Oh, and I think we've got another. Yeah, we have another large 2-page image here. Let's zoom in a bit. Beautiful binding. There's a coat of arms on this one. A couple of lions there, and fleur-de-lis, and all sorts of intricate things on that binding. We're still in the bees here. Buchanan. Samorium. My guess would be that would be a religious book. Dictionnaire raisonné de physique. Breviarium Romanum. Another nice binding here. Oh, this is just chocked full of decorative bindings. I'm having a little bit of trouble turning the pages just because they're so thick. Some letters. Another very nice looking binding here. It looks like there's a couple of very large prey birds on this coat of arms. So we're in the C's now. There's some Cervantes here. And price is there. There's another decorative binding. We're still in the C's. Ooh, and I'm sitting on my feet. I've got to change how I'm sitting on this sofa, because my feet are going to fall asleep if I do that. And I'll just keep flipping through here and showing you the illustrations. We're still in the C's. I'll spend some time with this book and translate things for myself to look at it more in detail. And bindings like these today would go for thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sure. So we've made it to D. We're in the Dantes. There's another psalm book, it looks like. A Grignan. And I recognize this coat of arms, I think. I'm assuming this is a book from the library of Madame de Grignan, who is a relation of Madame de Sévigné. It could be a completely different Madame de Grignan, but the coat of arms matches, so there is at least a family relation there. Oh no, it looks like we've got... oh, no, it's just... I thought maybe we had another nice big one, but no, it's just the way it's bound. It's just a one-page binding here. And we are still in the D's. Dorrit, Drew, Dubison. Oh, here's a two-page one. Wonderful. You can see, though, that the leather of this binding is probably all cracked. You can see that in the picture itself. Turning the page here. Euripides. Fête publique. Fête publique. Some more nice bindings here. What do we have here? It looks like the crucifixion on this binding. I'll turn it so you can actually see, but to me that looks like the crucifixion. Same thing on the front and the back of this binding. So probably, I would guess, and I'm not sure which of the descriptions this image relates to, but I would guess this is a religious binding. I can't quite make out what it says on the spine there, but I would guess it's a religious book. And we've made it to the H's. Hamilton, Helidor, Helno, Herod, Herodote, Herodi, and so on. Couple of more fine bindings here. Some sort of coat of arms here with what looks like fish. And we have another one of these double blank pages. And a nice large image here that takes up 2 pages. Probably to let us see the intricacy of the botanical design on this particular binding. Horace, Homer, Hortense, Imitation, oh, that's quite interesting. Very intricate indeed. And we're in the J's right now, it looks like. There's another double blank. And if I can get these pages separated, yeah, there we go. We have another double page image. And it's hard to tell exactly what this is. It looks like, I can't tell whether it's a man or a woman. I would assume it's probably a man. And it looks like they could perhaps be playing a violin. And there's a bunch of woodland creatures who are gathered about them. Still working our way through the J's. Another nice big 2-page image here. I will slowly scroll up. Beautiful binding, absolutely beautiful binding. There's another one. Ooh. These ones are smaller images, which makes me think perhaps these books are smaller. And I wonder if these images are meant to be true to scale, or at least close to true to scale. And that's why some of them are the double pages. But I could be completely wrong about that. Gorgeous. This one's got clasps on the book. And I apologize, if this were in English, I'd be reading out more of these listings, but given the quality of my French, I will not put you through that. We will just continue to look at some of the listings and each of these bindings here. Ooh. There's another double page. Wonderful. And I don't know where I'm going to put this on the shelves because I just reorganized everything yesterday. But I feel like this should go next to Dana Orcutt's Kingdom of Books. Not because Dana Orcutt's Kingdom of Books is a catalog like this is, but because Dana Orcutt's Kingdom of Books is just chocked full of images of decorative and ornate bindings, just like these. And so there is a subject matter association. Lucretius. Oh, we've got another one with someone in a chariot in horses, and it looks like they're trying to chase a winged horse or a Pegasus of some sort. But I don't think the guy in the chariot, I don't think his horses are going to make it up this cliffside after a flying winged horse. Oh my goodness gracious, that's gorgeous. Look at that one. All these birds and the feather motifs, and that's lovely. That's lovely indeed. We are in the M's. Lovely. Still in the M's. Oh, we've got the number 8, or in French, the number 8 repeated. Le numéro 8 repeated over and over again. Montesquieu, Morel. We are in the N's. And we have this interesting coat of arms here. And there's some people who apparently just collect bindings with coats of arms, armorial books as they sometimes call them. Not my area of interest. They're beautiful to look at, but you know, I'm not sure what I'd really do with a library that was just beautiful bindings. Unless the books inside the bindings, unless the content was really of interest too. Because as beautiful as these are, you know, I'd rather have a bunch of plain paper-bound boards, all in beige, if the content is interesting, than, you know, an entire collection of books in decorative bindings, that I can't find anything interesting in. We are in the P's now. Les Provinciales. We have another double blank here. Oh, there we go. Beautiful binding there. Pro. And some of these authors' names look familiar, but it's difficult to know at first glance whether they are familiar or whether they just resemble an English author name, because of course there's certain authors that we have names for in English that have slightly different spellings or pronunciations in French. Another lovely binding. That's a little too blurry to tell what's going on, but it looks like it could be some sort of carriage. Like that Plutarch. I would assume that's Plutarch, which is spelt different in English. Les vies des hommes illustrés grecs et romains. So that would be the lives of illustrious Greek and Roman men. So yes, that would be the Plutarch that we know in English. Pompadour, Pomme. Another botanical binding here. And it's hard to see what is in the center here. It almost looks like it could be a ship, but I could be completely wrong about that because it's so difficult to see. Maybe it's just a garden. Moving on to the R's, there is Racine. Another coat of arms. I think we've seen this one before with the fish in here. There's diamonds on this one. Another double blank. I wonder if we're going to get a 2-pager. Yes, there we go. There is the 2-page image here. That's kind of interesting. It looks like a knight slaying a dragon. Another 2-page illustration here. We are in the S's. Oh, look. There are the letters of Madame de Sévigné, one of the authors that I enjoy reading and I'm currently collecting. Lovely. Moving on to the T's. Thucydides. Number of Greek and Roman classics throughout here. Looks like we have another crucifixion scene on this binding, which suggests to me that that would be a religious work. We've made it to the V's with Voltaire. Couple of Voltaire works here. and to the W's. Lovely binding here. These thick papers are quite difficult to turn with just one hand. Crowns and fleur-de-lis, and it looks like perhaps a royal symbol. I feel like there's a different word, a royal device. I think I'm forgetting what it's called. King Charles has one too, but it's the initials put together in kind of a fancy way. An emblem, a royal emblem. I think emblem is the word I'm looking for. But there's a royal emblem on this binding. To the X. And I think, yes, we have reached the end. That's kind of a fascinating device here. Gargoyle of sorts. And so we have manuscripts. And illustrated books. Oh yeah, so this would be a list of livres armoires. I think these would be perhaps the ones that have those coats of arms. This is a list of the books with the coats of arms, I think. I could be wrong about that. And then the days of the auction. Mercredi 7 May, so the 7th of May was the first day of the auction. Jeudi 8 May, so the 8th of May, Thursday the 8th of May, the second day of the auction, and Vendredi 9 May, Friday, May 9th, the third day of the auction. And so my assumption here is that what we just looked at here on Volume 1 would be the listings for the first day of the auction, so Wednesday, May 7th. This is what was auctioned off on Wednesday, May 7th. And if I wanted to see the Thursday and the Friday sales, I would have to search for the remaining volumes. And I think, yeah, there's nothing going on there, I don't think. I'll check just to be sure, make sure there's nothing tucked in here. No, there isn't. Just plain end paper. Nicely bound in paper. So that is today's acquisition, the library of Edouard Rahir. And I am going to look at this in closer detail and do a little bit of translation work for myself so I can make out exactly what each listing in this French auction catalogue is all about. But if you stuck around this long, I hope you enjoyed this little flip through here.